Hi everybody, it's Sarah Cray with Let's Make Art, and today we are doing a beginner-friendly prickly pear cactus. Sorry, I didn't think of the name of this. So for the month of August, we are visiting the Southwest and doing cactus using these very vibrant colors for our monthly digital pack. Here's a little overview of projects in case you haven't seen them. They're super fun. But I noticed while I was creating these projects that I was going like really heavy and thick with my paint. And sometimes I don't know how to describe it any way better than like sometimes I just need to get back to the basics. So
Mm.
whenever I see myself pushing really, really hard, like overworking, not saying those projects are overworked, but just, you know what I mean? Like pushing and pushing and layering, I need to go back to the beginning and I need to really, take my time with these vibrant, loose, light washes and really let watercolor shine. So I thought there's no other better way to do that than to practice a more beginner friendly cactus, utilizing liquid watercolors and really like bring it back to the basics. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right. So we're going to be doing this project in 3 steps. Our very first step is we are going to paint the overall shape using wet on wet. Our second step is we'll add the flowers. Our third step is we'll add the spines. That's it.
All right. I like that.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, now I'm just using a like a cut in half sheet of paper. This is 6x9 watercolor paper. I'm using some Dandelion watercolor paints. These are from I believe it's called the classic set. It pairs with the workbook, but you can use whatever paints you have, okay?
Okay.
The reason why I'm using liquid watercolors is they're really vibrant. I mean, look at the vibrancy on this cactus. Like, I just love it. So that's what I decided to use. But again, just use what you have. All right. Now, before we get started in our project, let's do our oath. If you can raise your right hand and repeat after me, I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
I promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
And I promise to have fun.
Thank you. Okay. So I'm just going to use a round 6 and some colors that I have here. I'm going to list everything in the description. I'm going to put some fresh yellow just in case, but I have some lemon yellow, I have some blue, I have magenta and orchid and tangerine, okay?
Okay.
So prickly pear shapes of cactus, they're kind of like, they're flatter, kind of rounder in shape, but not a perfect circle. Kind of like more
Like
in
a
between an oval and a rectangle.
like a pear.
Yes.
I don't know. Like an upside down pear kind of.
Yes. Yes. Good job. Good
you.
job, Michael. Okay, so I'm just going to start. I'm mixing some water in with my liquid watercolors. Now you can see my liquid watercolors have dried, but they can bring right back up, reconstitute, which is some clean water. And I'm just going to start. The base of my prickly pear cactus is going to be like the largest shape here. You don't even have to tape your paper down. The reason why we don't have to tape our paper down is we're not working in wet enough washes it's really gonna like make the paper warp a lot, and because we're not painting edge to edge. But of course you can tape your paper down if you want. And then when it's wet like this is where I like to drop in yellows. And I'm just gonna let the color go. I don't have to really control everything about it. And you can drop in darker paint, maybe along the edges here. And you can also do water. Again, we're just kind of letting the colors move and have fun and be playful. And then I'm going to just right off of the edge here, do another shape, pulling the color that's already there. So see how they're kind of like round-ish coming off of it, but not like
Perfect circles.
perfect circles.
Right.
Okay, let's grab some more yellow. And maybe as you're painting, you really like the color that leans more turquoise. Maybe you like the ones that lean more yellow-green. I really don't think there's a right or a wrong.
we just went to Mexico City and we saw a prickly pear cactus that was so old that it had like turned to wood on the bottom.
Oh my
We had to use my
gosh.
phone to make sure it was a prickly pear. I
It
had no
was
idea.
fascinating.
Yeah.
It literally looked like wood.
It was like
It
a
looked like a
tree.
tree.
Yeah. Super weird.
It was beautiful.
Also, Mexico City is awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it. I ate more tacos than should be legal.
That I don't regret. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now, again, we're not worried about the shapes being perfect. We're not worried about our cactus being symmetrical. We're not worried about any of that. Cactuses grow wonky and weird. We embrace the wonky and weird. Okay. Also, let the colors change from section to section. The biggest thing here really is just making sure that you're utilizing water to spread this color so then we get these really beautiful light washes. Now, I am not going to go much taller on this right-hand side, and that's mostly because I want the left-hand side to be taller, because I think it sometimes can maybe look weird if it's like just two equal arms coming up. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But also, don't be afraid to just kind of go with the flow, see where it takes you. You can also have like multiple little, I don't know, what do you want to call these? Ears, little things,
Lobes,
lobes,
nubbins.
nubbins. Those are all great words.
On today's episode of Life Lessons with Michael, just because a cactus doesn't look like it has spikes on it, don't trust it.
How'd you learn that?
Well, we went to Arizona once and there was a prickly pear out there, and I read that you can eat the little fruit that grows on them. And the fruit looks nice and, touch me. But they have teeny tiny invisible spikes that don't come out of your hands for a long time.
Oh,
It was not fun.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was my own fault.
Well,
I didn't even eat it.
all of that work for
I was
nothing.
too sad.
Okay, so this is just this. This is our cactus, our little prickly pear cactus. You can keep going. You can make it as big, whatever shape you want. Now, what I'm going to do is step 2. I'm just going to add the flowers. So I have a mixture here. I have magenta, which leans more pink, and then I have orchid that leans more purple. Use whatever color you want. While it's wet, I have no problem just doing a little like do, letting that color bleed into the green. If you don't like the bleeding aspect, then you can wait for your cactus to dry before you add the flowers. And then I'm going to add kind of a larger flower over here, one that's more like opened up. I don't know if that type of flower grows on a prickly pear cactus, to be honest. But sometimes you just got to let your painting be free from the limitations of reality. Okay. So I'm just going to do, it's kind of like I think about the shape of a bowl. So I'm going to do one edge of a bowl, the other edge of a bowl. So that's kind of like the outside of my flower. And then I'm just going to do curved lines on the inside following that bowl curve shape. And then I just take water and kind of like spread the color around just a little bit, keeping in mind that bowl shape. And it doesn't have to be anything more complicated than that. Just the suggestion of a flower is enough. And frankly, the colors that we're using and the shapes that we're using, people are going to put it together like that. No problem. Okay. Now, that's it. And then we can just put in our spines or our spikes on the cactus. But I just want to show you one other thing, which is at this moment, our values, if you were to squint your eyes, our values are fairly even. Okay. There is a darker value right here. And this right here is a really, really light value. So when I squint my eyes, I can kind of see that. If you wanted to do more values to create more form, you can at this moment. So this is where I would mix more blue and green together. And you can go in maybe kind of where these sections of cactus are meeting. And you can just add some value there. Another thing, like if you want the values to not blend and diffuse out, you would wait for your cactus to dry and then you can add them. So let me show you what that looks like.
I have fun plant fact while we wait.
Yes,
Cactuses have spines, not spikes, because they're modified leaves.
I
You
knew
knew it?
that.
You knew it?
That's why I called it spines.
Thank you.
But I Googled it. It's not like I just
Oh,
like had that
I
information in
had to
my
double
head.
check to make sure, but in the botany world, it depends where the pokey part grows out of. If it's a modified leaf, it's a spine. If it's a modified skin portion, it's called a prickle. And if it's,
I have prickles.
yeah, you do. And if it's a modified branch, it's a spike.
Okay,
So these are spines.
spines.
Yes.
They have spines. I have prickles.
Yep. I
You
have
have.
sadness. Yes. From both.
Okay. Now, before I move on to add the dark values, I definitely think it's worth it to pause and look at what your painting does naturally. This was us just allowing the paint to flow, dropping in different colors, and looking at like the movement of color between here. I love this section right here where the green is starting to kind of bleed into this really light value. I love this bloom that I got right here and right here. A lot of the times when you're starting with watercolor, you think that textures in watercolor are bad. They're called hard edges, they're called blooms. They happen from basically an uneven amount of water disbursement within your painting, which then therefore dries at different times, which therefore creates blooms. I am not anti-bloom. I think that a bloom is an effect that is unique to watercolor. And so we can utilize it to bring in visual interest, to add texture to our painting, to have some like really cool elements that just kind of, I don't know, show up. So I guess if you're just starting watercolor and you're getting blooms, don't hate it. just see if there's anything that could um I don't know. Sometimes they happen in a painting and they make the painting. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. So I love this. I think this is really interesting. You can see that this is where I try to put that second layer of wash to do that darker value. Because everything was still wet, it didn't really darken. It did create this cool texture though, so I'm not mad about it. And then if I wanted to do more of a darker value, this is where, and you can see my painting is dry or mostly dry. So you can see that it's kind of just staying put. This technique is called wet on dry because my paper is dry, but my paint is wet that I'm painting with. See
Really
what I'm
pushing the
saying?
boundaries on some of these names, you know? Wet
What?
on dry. They really push the boundaries on some of these names.
Yes. So if you want to just add a little bit of shadow on here, you can. And you can see kind of what that does if you like that look, if you don't like that look. I really don't think there's a right or a wrong. Most of the time, though, in general, if you want your paintings to feel more three-dimensional, have more form, or be more realistic, that's when you're going to have a lot more values. If you're okay with doing more simple, light illustrative work, then that's where you don't have to worry about values as much. It just depends on what you feel like painting. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the spines. I'm going to switch to my round 2. If you have a liner brush, that's going to work great as well. Basically, whenever I do detail lines like this, I want to take a darker value and start to add textures. Now, why does it need to be a darker value? Well, if I take the same color value or a light value and I do a mark on it, it's not going to show up.
Mm.
Watercolor is transparent, so it has to work in layers. You can't do a light layer on top of a medium. You can't do a light value on top of a medium value. That's not going to show up. So I need to mix together a darker green. And then I'm going to take my round 2. And then if you want it to be like really thin, my little trick of getting really thin lines is after I pick up the paint, I take my paintbrush, I smush it against my palette, I flip it and I smush it the other way. That gets rid of excess paint. And then now I have a really thin tip. And I can go in and just do boop, 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 boop. It helps if you make the noise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you do these spines, you want them to go in all different directions.
This reminds me of Follow Me, if you will. Mario. The old Mario video game. You remember those little cactuses that would like wiggle towards you and you had to like hit each section at a
Yes.
time?
I totally forgot about them until right now.
That's what this reminds me of.
I can see that.
I want to kick the middle of this so that it falls away. And spoiler alert, it'll hurt. Back to the spikes thing. Yeah.
It's okay if you get some short ones. The trickiest thing is not getting super long ones, to be honest. That's what I struggle with. You could also like there's different styles where you can utilize the spikes in different patterns to create cool shapes. You know what I mean? Think about things like that.
Hmm.
For me though, sometimes I don't know, just like I wanted to do this just to remind myself of like how light watercolor could be, not even in um like actual painting, but I just mean like it doesn't have to be this fully thought out 1 to 5 hour painting session, even if it's small. You could do something fun and light and easy. Um, and things like that are really good for your creativity. I mean, you can make this into a cute little card that says, like, I pick you or something. Wait, is that it?
I pick you.
No, that would be
Mm,
more like a flower.
yeah.
Um,
Stick you. uh,
Mine would be sorry, I'm a cactus when you try to cuddle me.
yeah. How about we're quite a pair, a
Oh,
prickly pair.
yes.
Uh-huh.
Michael,
Thank you.
that was good.
Thank you.
Where did I get I pick you? What does that have to do with cactus?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I can't pick you. You're pokey.
I want to pick you. You will
You,
hurt me.
you have natural defenses.
You open up the card and it's actually this very long letter of why you couldn't be together with somebody instead of a love note.
Cactus painting. It's a nice breakup cactus. You make me defensive.
You make me put my arms up.
I would eat you in a taco, a Nepalese. That's what these are called.
My fruit looks yummy, but don't touch me.
Don't touch. Off limits. Invisible spikes. Spines. I don't remember now.
They're spines.
Spikes they grow out of that flower portion of a plant, I think.
I don't know.
Let me double check. Yeah, spines are modified leaves. A spike is an unbranched cluster of flowers.
Okay. That's it.
Lovely.
That's our cactus. One thing that I want to say is if you're trying to add marks like spines or whatever, and your painting is wet, like on this side, you can see that's wet because wherever I try to put the spikes, they diffused out and didn't stay. So just a little note, if that's happening to you, you're feeling frustrated, all you have to do is wait for your painting to dry and then you go ahead and add the details on top and those should stay nice and sharp. I actually really don't mind it when some of them kind of diffuse or fuzz out. Again, it brings like an element of texture. And I've always have really loved the aspect of watercolor where you are not totally in control all of the time. Watercolor to me feels like a collaboration between me and the medium and the paper, okay? I'm not trying to control every aspect, and I've learned that the more I'm willing to let go and let the medium do what it wants to do, the more interesting results I get. So just try it. Thank you guys so much for painting with me. I hope you have fun with this, and I hope that you remember that if you're starting to feel kind of heavy in your work, maybe you notice that while you're painting, you're feeling more frustrated. Maybe you're noticing that you're layering and layering and layering so much and wiping and trying to do all this stuff that you lose your lights. If you're starting to feel maybe a little bit bored, go back to the basics. Bring it all the way back to when you first started painting and attempting to familiarize yourself with how this medium moves and specifically work towards keeping it simple and light. All of those things are really good for your practice and they're good for your creative mind. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to do a little bit more experience projects, you're welcome to sign up for the August digital pack. That's where we do all these kind of Southwest paintings. Thank you guys so much for painting with me. If anything, it's just fun to kind of hang out. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.